Thank you for watching Taxpayer Alert. I'm Al Segalla. I'll be your moderator, and I'm also president of the Calaveras County Taxpayer Association. So of course we're concerned about the taxpayer. We're delighted this time to have our guest is the Director of Public Works and also the County Surveyor, Robert Pachinger. Did I pronounce your name right?
Pachinger, yes.
Well, welcome, Robert. How'd you get involved in this business?
Well, it's kind of a somewhat of a long story. I'm from San Francisco. I'm first generation born in the United States. My parents are from Central America, Nicaragua. And I had an uncle who was a civil engineer in Nicaragua. And I saw his home and how he lived, and that interested me. I wanted to be a civil engineer in Nicaragua also. But in 1979, the Sandinistas took over Nicaragua, and that kind of put an end to that kind of an adventure. So I knew I didn't want to live in San Francisco or that type of lifestyle. So when I was employed here in Calaveras County, this is where I stayed. I like the area. It's beautiful to me. The way of life here is much better than anything in the big city in San Francisco. So that's kind of what brought me here to Calaveras County. I was in the Air Force for almost 7.5 years, stationed at Travis, and that's when I started to apply for my jobs, and Calaveras said yes. So that was in 1990 when I started here.
Oh, that's 23 years ago.
Almost 33.
Oh, 33. I'm only off 10 years.
I've had fun.
Well, we want to talk about what the Director of Public Works does, and what is Public Works, and apparently we're talking about roads and stormwater, and what's involved with that?
Yes, so we have 680 miles of roads. Those are the county maintained. That's the county maintained road system. We also have quite a number of miles of CSA roads. 43 miles of CSA roads.
What's GSA mean?
CSA, County Service Area.
Okay.
So what happens there? That road. The county maintained road system was established many years ago. And since that time, there's very little change to it. Sometimes Caltrans relinquishes something to the county and we take that, so that'll be added. I get asked often, how come we can't take on new roads into the county maintained system from private roads? There's a few issues with that. The way that private roads were set up, they're not dedicated to the public, and they also don't meet certain county standards for the county to then take them on. Also, there's an expense to maintaining all of these miles of roads, and with the amount of money that we have, we barely have enough to do the 680 miles of roads. Actually, we don't. We only have enough to maintain small portions of the entire road system, so it's difficult to add new roads into it.
You have to get special financing.
There has to be. So what we do now is an option that is presented in the Streets and Highways Code, and that's the Permanent Road Division. So a group of homeowners can petition the county to take that in, but they're going to be responsible for the maintenance of the road. And that we do that, there's a couple of permanent road divisions already in the county.
Okay. There's a connection at Little John Road that almost goes to connect to Highway 108, has to go across the dam, and I understand that sometime in the future that may come about. Do you have any word?
Burns Ferry Road with the bridge.
Yeah.
Is that what you're speaking of?
Yeah.
That bridge, there was an effort at one time to look at a replacement to that. The difficulty there is that on the Ptolemy County side, there's quite a bit of sharp curves, and as large vehicles navigate that, they tend to miss those curves, and that last curve is right where the bridge starts. So we've had accidents where...
Oh, you're talking about Burns Ferry Road?
Yeah, on Burns Ferry Road.
Okay, yeah. Now, was there plans for
There
a
were
bridge up high?
plans, there were plans. That was close to a $70 million job, with the county committing to a pretty large percent of that. Maybe, I think if I remember right, maybe 11% was what the county match was supposed to be, and that's a tremendous amount of money that the county doesn't have for that.
Would that be a
type of
bond
work.
issue?
That could be a way to finance something like this, but
That'd be over time.
yes, but in part of the investigations that I did years ago was to determine the traffic pattern that would use that bridge. And we had a traffic study done, and most of the people that use that bridge are Copperopolis residents. So it's not something that we can easily have a bond that's countywide bond to pay for this bridge. That's been a difficulty that we've looked at, from many years. So we'll see as we move forward and traffic patterns change, the general plan is new, the new circulation element, and we could look again at different, at what, if the county would be partner, I guess you can say, to some project like this. It would take a lot of funds to come up with, $7 million. That's quite at least this was what? Maybe 10 years ago, 15 years ago, when we were looking at these.
We were younger then.
Yeah, we were younger. That was a difficult one.
Now, this in that vicinity, there's been some talk. I think one of the supervisors was interested in a connection to New Maloney's from Burns Ferry Road over Dr. Morrissey's property. Did you get any information on that?
I do remember plans like that back when they were looking at the alternatives for that current crossing. There was one alternative that went through that property, but the expense for that kind of thing, like I said, is quite tremendous.
Well, this one is to access the lake itself, and that means the possibility for motel sites and boat launching and boat launching, ramps. And I live in Copperopolis, and that sounds like a really good idea, but it doesn't seem like it would need very much tax money, because the people that would develop it the properties along that route could also pay for the road, maybe.
True. Typical in new development, whenever that's proposed, the developers themselves have to provide the access routes to
Right.
whatever they're going to build. So that's a typical thing. I haven't heard recently, and I would say in the last 10 years or so, any mention of Dr. Morrissey developing that at all. Years before that, I did hear of some of those developments, but I haven't heard in quite some time that anything's going to happen there.
Now, another one is Little John Road in Copperopolis that connects Highway 4 to all the developments, including it used to be
Saddle Creek was
Saddle Creek, which became
Copper
Valley. Yeah.
Yes.
And I imagine if that's going to be changed to a through road, it would go across the dam, and then connect up to Highway 120 or 120, 108. Has there been any discussion about that?
No. Many years ago, there was discussion of looping Little John Road back around through proposed developments that are no longer in existence. This was the Oak Canyon Ranch.
Yeah, I remember that.
Things. And they were going to loop that back around, back to Highway 4, but Oak Canyon Ranch doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
So I don't know. I haven't heard of any other discussions of looping that back over towards Ptolemy County, no.
Yeah. I guess maybe the in the general plan, you have area plans. Maybe the Copperopolis area plan, that'll be where that probably should be discussed a little bit if the community wants that.
Right, I believe those have been completed, but that would be in planning to determine if.
Yeah.
I know that the general plan was done a few years ago, and I don't know if there was any other plan associated with that with the communities, but planning would be where you would have that discussion better.
We'll probably have a show dedicated to planning. You know, we want to do it at least once a year. But we want our taxpayers to be informed.
Yes.
Okay, so now we got a scope of what you're involved with a little bit. What kind of budget do you have for annually?
Okay, that right now for this current fiscal year, we're going to present a $36 million budget. Of that, 14 million is what we use for the maintenance of our road system. The $36 million budget represents a lot of capital improvement projects that we work on, and those are funds that come from the Federal Highway Administration and from the state. For example, the Wagon Trail project that's currently underway, that's quite a few $1 million right there of work.
That's a state project?
That's state funded.
State highway?
Yes, it's
Yeah.
funded through the state, but we're the project managers. We've issued the contract for the construction, so that's in our budget.
I see. When's that going to be completed?
We're hoping that it's done this year.
Oh,
At the end
wow.
of the year.
That'd be pretty
We have-
bold.
We have one half of it done,
Yeah.
and we're working on the, continuing portion that's left.
I see those pretty orange plastic, I guess they're mesh that around where they want to protect things.
Right. All that needs to be protected, and
Yeah.
we're all working together, the contractor, our construction management team, the archaeologist, the Native Americans, all working together for this project.
Yeah. Now under the 36 million, most of it is in projects, and 14 million is on maintenance.
Right.
And so, what are some of the other big projects you were working on?
Well, there are some bridges. We have bridge replacement projects. So they're in various stages in the pipeline. We're hoping to deliver one this year. Manju Ranch, I believe, is the one for construction this summer. We're hoping to do a couple more next year. So they're in various stages of the pipeline. We also have other projects. We have replacement of signs throughout the county. We have
Replacement of what?
signs, the signs along the road.
Oh, signs, okay.
Yes. We have a nice big project for that to make sure that they reflect appropriately at night.
Yeah.
And then we have striping, we have pavement repairs that we do throughout the county. This year, our pavement program is going to be taking care of some roads in McCollum Hill. Next year, we'll be doing District 1, some District 5 work, and we go around the county in that fashion from one district to the other, plan ahead that way.
Now, you just don't do the districts where the supervisors are nice to you.
They're all nice to us.
Now, how many employees do you have?
We have currently 60 employees.
Okay.
That fluctuates a little bit. Of course, people come and go, people retire. We have one that's going to retire here that's I believe 29 years or so.
Oh,
Quite a long
could have a
time.
party for him.
Yeah. So we have our retirements, and then we get new guys in, and then the new guys get trained and sometimes go off to work for George Reed or something. And
Yeah.
it's the way it's always been.
Now, you also, sometimes you contract out, so the amount of work being done is not always your employees, it's contracts that you put up for bids, is that correct?
That's right. A lot of our larger projects have to be contracted out.
I see.
We go through a complete solicitation process with bids, and we go with the lowest responsible bidder. We
Right.
have to check all of that, and then from there we award the contract, and away we go. We do the work. So some of those projects that I was mentioning to you, for example, bridge construction, that's going to be contracted out.
Right. So you have, on the amount of roads you have, 680 miles plus GSA roads,
County service areas, CSA.
county service area roads.
Yes.
And how many miles of county service area roads do you have?
43 miles.
43. So 680 plus 43.
Mhm.
Well,
And
that-
then a small amount of permanent road division roads now.
So when a road is finished, how long typically does the payment last?
So the life cycle of a pavement is a pretty long subject. It should last typically, initially, a new road could last maybe, depending on where it's at, how it's built. There are so many factors in that affect the life cycle of a pavement. But let's say 20 years.
Okay.
But there's a couple things that affect the life of the road. One of those is oxidation, and you can see that road starting to have cracks in it that lets water in.
Right.
And then of course that deteriorates the pavement. And one of the things that we try to do with our paving program right now is to catch some of those roads and that are starting to deteriorate, and do things like a micro seal and seal the surface of that road, preserve that road, and extend its life.
It makes sense.
There are other situations that affect the road, and that has to do mostly with heavy loads on a road. And you'll see this happening, for example, on Old Burns Ferry Road,
Yeah.
where they get a lot of heavy loads due to that rock plant that's in Ptolemy County. It comes over and they use the Burns Ferry Road, and you'll see where the wheel tracks are a lot of distressed pavement going through there.
Yeah, I noticed that.
And then you'll see, of course, water gets in there. That's where you have potholes mostly in that area. In those situations, you have to go in, grind that out, rebuild that, and then that road is preserved. The other areas where the wheels aren't tracking are in pretty good shape.
Yeah.
So that happens on roads. Another area that you get distress is when a heavy load stops. And it's that slower traffic on the pavement distresses it more.
Yeah.
So where it's slow or stopping, you'll get areas where the pavement is distressed there. We'll have to fix that area.
Yeah.
So what we're trying to do is preserve our road system and pay attention to areas where the roads are in decent shape, moderate to decent shape, and extend the life of the road. We did a study in 2019 where a consultant came and looked at all of the roads and determined a pavement index. And we used that pavement index to kind of help us, guide us, where we can use different strategies to preserve the road. A better index is what we want. And unfortunately, Calaveras County roads, generally speaking, are kind of on the lower end of things. But wherever we have pretty decent pavements, we can go ahead and do a micro surface or some sort of seal on the road. And where the road is in much worse shape, let's say for example Pool Station Road is in rough shape
Yeah.
because of all the traffic on the heavy traffic on that road, that will take a rebuilding of the road, which takes more money, of course, to do. Since we have to spread the money in larger areas, we're trying to do things where a combination of taking care of a really bad road or a small portion of a bad road and deal with that little by little, little by little. Hopefully we fix that entire road in time, and then
Start again.
and keep working on the roads that are in decent shape
Yeah,
and keep those from deteriorating, because it costs a whole lot more to fix a road that's in very bad shape
Than
than
to see
to
it.
preserve a road. Yes.
what is the difference in cost in putting in asphalt highway versus concrete? I assume concrete's more expensive,
Yeah.
but I wonder how much more expensive it is.
It's quite a bit more. Right now, it's hard to even get concrete. Supplies are difficult. So,
Got George Reed.
well, but the ingredients that make the concrete are hard to come by. They have to be shipped and so forth and so on. But
Yeah.
yes, George Reed is nearby, but you could say we use George Reed for some of our paving work.
Yeah,
And that's an easier product to deal with for our situation.
yeah. So, what are of the upcoming projects? How many? Which is the biggest project you have upcoming now?
Well, the completion of Wagon Trail is
Wagon Trail.
the biggest project.
And how many $1 million is that?
Well, if we count design and everything else, that's about $30 million.
Okay, $30 million.
Construction is 20.
So a third of it is design.
There's more. It's in design, environmental work. Yeah. The
Pre-construction work.
pre-construction work. There's a lot of that has to be done. Yes.
So now when that's done, it'll be much easier to get to Angels Camp.
That's Wagon Trail Phase 1. We're also working on Wagon Trail Phase 2,
Yeah,
which is the going east from the part that we're working on.
yeah,
We've already started, we've awarded the contract for that to get the design going.
oh, good.
And once we get the design there, there's also, right of way that has to be purchased
Yeah.
and construction. So it's another large project.
There was some talk about another highway connection to the shopping center at the junction of Highway 49 and 4, down towards the Chinese restaurant, that area. I don't remember. It looks like it might be a little bit of problem putting in a left turn lane on Highway 4 for a shopping center connection. I don't know. I haven't heard any more about it.
No, I haven't heard either. That would be entirely Caltrans.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank God.
It'd be kind of messy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So looking ahead, what do you see your budget needs coming up with what you have on your plate now?
Well, we're always tight, but we're also very frugal. We do always need additional funding that would be nice to get so that we could take care of more of the requests that we receive for maintenance and different repairs that are happening all around the county. That's always a problem. That's always limited there. The bridge work and those projects, we get the grants from the federal government to take care of those. But it's the local stuff, the things that the public really is interested in. We spend a lot of money on that, but it's not enough. Could always use more there. But as far as projects that are coming up, we have quite a number of projects. We have improvements going in Valley Springs hopefully soon for the Valley Springs Safety Improvement Project there. We're still working on trying to improve the safety at the intersection of Olive Orchard Road, Gardner, and Highway 26. We're going to be moving into the design phase for that. We're trying to get that to hopefully a shovel-ready project that either Caltrans can pick up from there, or we get the funding from the state to get that.
I see.
It's always a goal to try to get things to a shovel-ready point so that then those kinds of projects are competitive when we compete with other agencies, and
Yeah.
the state has funds for some of that. We're going to be working on a school project here. Is called Active Transportation Program funded project. We received almost $10 million for that, for Pope Street, do some traffic calming there. There's projects all over. We have lighting projects on Murphy's Main Street. That's going to be going on here in the next few weeks. It's going to start. So there's always something going on.
Well, you got a lot on your plate. I'm amazed that you can keep track of it all.
I don't. That's how come I brought my papers with me. I'm sure that there's so many things I could have said that I didn't say. But no, I don't remember everything.
Well, you're doing a good job, and we appreciate it.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching Taxpayer Alert. We hope to see you again. Good day.
Thank you.
Thank you for being our guest.